Welcome back to all of you. It's Reverend Mark Abernethy at the foot of the cross for this 10th installment. I hope all of you have a chance to get outside today. What a beautiful day here in South Windsor, Connecticut. Even in normal circumstances, I am sometimes struck by how obsessed human beings are with time. I know when I ask people a question, and probably all of you ask the same kind of question, I listen really carefully for the answer that people give. And the question is pretty typical. We ask people this question all the time, and the question is something like, how are you? How are you doing? And people respond in different ways. Sometimes people will say, oh, I'm fine. Sometimes people will say, I'm okay. Every once in a while, somebody will say, I'm not having such a great day. But here's the response that I hear to that question as much or maybe more than any other response. And that response is, when I say, how are you? Somebody will respond, I'm really busy. And then if they go further than that, they'll say something like, I just don't have enough time. I wish I could find more time. I wish there were more hours in a day. I wish I could make the time to do all that I need to do. I just don't have time. Recognizing during this time of pandemic that there are all kinds of people in this community and beyond who are essential employees and are working overtime to provide for us and to take care of us. God bless each of them for the work that they are doing. For so many others of us, we are isolating and staying quarantined and away from people, and we have more time than we usually have in our lives. I wonder whether that time is a gift in so many ways. Maybe it's a gift from God, who really is timeless. God is the Alpha and the Omega. God is the beginning and the end. Long before there was time, there was God, and long after our time is up on this earth, God will continue. So God is timeless. And I wonder what it would be like to really look at this time as God's gift to us. We don't have to take time. We don't have to find the time. We don't have to wish for more time. We have simply been given this time to be with our families, to be with our friends. Sorry about that. Phone call right in the middle of this. We've been given this time to be with family and friends and to reflect and to pray and to think. So I wonder about time during this pandemic. And I think maybe we don't have to obsess about time quite the same way. The question is, what do we do with this gift of time? I know I was sitting in my living room last night, and one of the things I decided to do was to reach out to a friend I hadn't spoken to for a number of months. What an incredible thing to catch up with him and to find out how he is making his way through this pandemic. And as I was talking to this particular friend of mine, he alerted me to a poem which I hadn't read before. Maybe some of you have read it because it has been on Facebook. It's a poem that was written by Lynn Unger, who is a poet and a Unitarian Universalist pastor out in San Francisco, California. And the poem is aptly entitled Pandemic. And it speaks to this notion of time, this time that we sometimes obsess about, but the time that we have been given during this pandemic. And I think it speaks really profoundly about how we might think about time and what we might do with time. So I read it for you, and I commend it to you, maybe as something that you will print out at your own house and put it on your refrigerator or keep it nearby and refer to it from time to time. Again, it's called Pandemic, written by Lynn Unger, Ungar. She writes, "What if you thought of it as the Jews consider the Sabbath, the most sacred of times? Cease from travel, cease from buying and selling, give up just for now on trying to make the world different than it is. Sing, pray, touch only those to whom you commit your life. Center down. And when your body has become still, reach out with your heart. Know that we are connected in ways that are terrifying and beautiful. You could hardly deny it now. Know that our lives are in one another's hands. Surely that has come clear. Do not reach out your hands. Reach out your heart. Reach out your words. Reach out all the tendrils of compassion that move invisibly where we cannot touch. Promise this world your love, for better or for worse, in sickness and in health, so long as we all shall live. God bless all of you during this time, this sacred time, this time that God has given to us.